What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. All right, this is part 2 of me exposing the Michigan Master Angler Program to help you catch more big fish here in the state of Michigan. So let's get into part 2. Alrighty, so in part 1 we covered the top counties, and now we're going to cover the top species. I'm going to give you the top 10 species turned in since the inception of the Master Angler Program, and I'm even going to give you the top 3 fish in the Master Angler Program. And keep in mind, the Master Angler Program is done by length, not weight, but the state record is done by weight. So number 1 in the Master Angler Program may not be the state record. So keep that in mind as we dive into this. So let's get to number 10. So first up on our top 10 list is number 10, the Musky. Now the Musky for the state record now is split up between Great Lakes and Northern Strain, but for a long time it was just straight Musky. So the Musky, we have seen 1,827 entries into the Master Angler Program. The very first fish entered into the Master Angler Program came from Elk Lake in Antrim County. It was 47 inches and was caught on February 1st, 1994. So, been a few years since that first one got turned in. Now, number 3 in the Master Angler Program, which is determined by length only, not weight, is the current state record that was caught in Lake Bel Air on October 13th, 2018. That fish was 59 inches and 58 pounds. And if I remember right, it was caught on a live sucker and by a guy bass fishing, or maybe that was the one just before it, but maybe I'm wrong on that, but correct me in the comments down below if you know the correct answer to that. Number 2 was caught on October 11th in 2003, was caught in Lake Hudson and was 59 inches. And the number 1 fish in the Master Angler Program for Musky was caught August 4th, 2016 on Lake St. Clair, and that baby went 61 inches, folks. 61 inches of musky meat. Woo! What a fish, what a fish. Let's go into number 9. Number 9 in the Master Angler Program is the common carp. Now, common carp is a introduced species, and it has basically been what we call naturalized to our environment. So it's not considered invasive, even though it was purposely introduced in the United States as a food source. That's here nor there. That's a topic for a different story or a different day. We have 2,034 entries. The first Master Angler was turned in on March 14th, 1994. You're going to see a lot of 94, 95 on all these because that's when the program started, I'm guessing. It was caught in the Flint River for 36 inches. The number 3 fish in this list just so happens to be the state record. So this is twice now. The state record was number 3. We can debate down in the comments how we should be keeping these records by weight, length, or a combination of the two. But let's put that down in the comments. Let me know what you think. That fish was caught in 1974 out of Wolf Lake, and I believe it was the Wolf Lake in Jackson County that fish came out of. It was 47.5 inches and weighed a whopping 61.5 pounds. Whew, that's a big carp. Number 2 on our list was caught in July on the 9th in 2017 on White Lake. Yes, the big White Lake over off of Lake Michigan. That thing went 47.8 inches. Whew, that's a big boy as well. The number 1 fish caught in Lake Michigan without the county on it, just Lake Michigan. Not in control of the database, that's what they have, was caught on June 8th, 2015 and that fish was a 48-inch piece of meat. Whew, those are some big farm animals, as we call them here on Lake St. Clair. Let's get into number 8. Number 8 on our list is the walleye. We have 2,161 entries into the Master Angler program. The very first walleye turned into the Master Angler program happened on January 7th, 1994, and that fish was 32 inches and 11.5 pounds. Now, remember I said we're looking at this by the total length because that's the primary way the Master Angler fish are recorded. So, number 1, 2, and 3 all are 39.5 inches. Okay? So what I'm going to do, since just so happens that they have weight, I'm going to reorder them by weight so we get a true top 1 through 3. So, number 1, which was caught in the Saginaw River, that went 11 pounds, 9 ounces. It was caught on February 16th, 1994. The number 2 spot, which was caught in the Detroit River on April 13th, 1996. It was 11 pounds and 11.36 pounds. And the number 1 spot, which was caught March 9th, right before the season closed, up on the Saginaw River in 2006, went 11.39 pounds. Now, with that said, the state record was caught in 1951 on the Pine River. That fish was 35 inches and went a whopping 17.19 pounds. So, will we ever see this state record broken? I think so, but I'm not sure where it would come from. Unless they change the regs, then the west side of the state probably has the best shot at breaking this record. Number 7 on our list is the mighty, the legendary channel catfish. We have 2,278 inches. The very first one was turned in on February 19th, 1994. That fish went 26 inches, 8 pounds, 8.3 8.75 pounds. Geez, English is tough for me today, guys. Sorry. Number 3 on the Master Angler turn-in list by length would be on September 12th, 2008, out of the Grand River. That fish went 43.5 inches. Number 2, caught on June 15th, 2013, out of Saginaw Bay at 45.6 inches. And the number 1 slot in the Master Angler program by length was caught on August 8th, 1999 in the Asabo River at a 40-inch behemoth. Now, couple interesting tidbits. 48 inches to a lot of you guys on Channel Cat seems like a lot. The current state record, which was caught in Houghton Lake in the 1960s, went 41.5 inches and weighed 40 pounds. Now, the world record is 52 inches and 58 pounds. Put that in perspective. I have a really good feeling the channel catfish record could fall any year in the next 3 to 5. There's some really good catfish coming out of the state right now. So if you haven't chased catfish and you're on that Master Angler grind and I want to catch as many as I can, channel catfish may be a really good one. And stay tuned for a future video where I cover catfishing here in Michigan and where to go do it. Number 6 on our list are the crappies. Now, we do separate for the state record purposes white and black crappie for the Master Angler program. It's just straight crappie. They have the same length requirements, so that's what we go with. Total entries for the program is 2,358,000 entries. The very first one was turned in on January 1, 1994 from Keeney Lake, and that fish was 16.5 inches. Now, this is where it's going to get interesting here. The number 3 fish was caught on February 14th, 04, out of Middle Lake. It went 18.5 inches and weighed 2.47 pounds. The number 2 fish was caught on May 27th, 2000. That was caught in Forest Lake. That fish went 19.5 inches and 3.59 pounds. The number 1 spot and the white crappie state record was caught on May 22nd, 2000 out of Stony Creek, not too far from where I live here, 19.5 inches and went 3.3 pounds. Now, the state record black crappie was caught in 1947 out of Lincoln Lake, the one over in Kent County. That fish went 4 pounds, 12 ounces. So, if you look at the records for crappie, everything's in that 19-inch range, right? Including the black crappie world record, which is 19.3 inches at 5.5 pounds. The white crappie record, I do not have official length on it, but it went 5.2 pounds. So we can extrapolate from that fish caught in Lincoln Lake could very well be legitimate. I know there's a lot of people that have controversy over some of these older records. Can this record be beat in the state of Michigan? With current management practices we are seeing here in the state, I am going to say it is not likely. It's possible. Probability always says it's possible. But with the way our fisheries are managed for trophy panfish, I don't see this happening anytime soon. There's always a freak out there. Hopefully the DNR will start their panfish advisory group, and I want to be on it. I have been asking to be on a panel like this since I was 16 years old with the state. Hopefully this comes to fruition in the near future. But that's it for number 6, the crappies. Number 5 on our top 10 list is the smallmouth bass. Now we have 2,502 entries. The very first one was turned in May 25th, 1994. If you remember, back in the day, you couldn't fish for bass until after, was it Memorial Day? So that's why we got a May date on that one. That fish was 22 inches and went 6.12 pounds. Very, very solid fish. Now, number 3 on the Master Angler list was caught on May 24th, 2011. Let me get the lake here. I accidentally didn't write it down. 1 second. So that fish was caught on Muskegon Lake. Number 2 on our list, caught June 27th, 2001, Lake St. Clair at 27.2 inches. And the number 1 spot, and not the state record, mind you, not the state record, was caught August 16th, 2003, was 27.5 inches and caught on Lake St. Clair. Now, the state record was caught on September 11th, 2016 in the Indian River by a guy fishing in his backyard on a bend with a crawler on the bottom, fishing for whatever bites. That fish was 23.1 inches and a whopping 9.98 pounds, just a smidge from that 10-pound mark. Number 4 on our list is the freshwater drum. We have a whopping 2,783 entries into the Master Angler program. The very first fish turned into the program came on June 6, 1994. That fish was 24.5 inches and came out of Muskegon Lake. Number 3 on our list for total length, top 3, came June 5th, 2011 out of White Lake, and that fish was 38 inches. Woohoo! Sheep at 38 inches. That had to be a hell of a fight. Number 2, caught June 17th, 2007, came out of Saginaw Bay. That fish was also 38 inches. The number 1 spot in the Master Angler program came September 10th, 1999, out of my home lake, Lake St. Clair. That fish went 45 inches, 21.5 pounds. That had to be a hell of a lot of fun to reel in. Now, none of those were the state record, so this is going to be an interesting one. The state record came out of Muskegon Lake in 2015. That fish was just a little bit over 34 inches, 34.02 inches, and weighed a whopping 28.61 pounds. If I was going hunting for that next state record, freshwater drum, St. Clair River, and the north, the channel area on Lake St. Clair would be high on my list. Saginaw Bay would be really high on my list, all the way up to Oscoda. And then pretty much from Holland to Ludington, you got a great opportunity there too to catch some really big freshwater drum. Muskegon Lake and the channel mouths and the piers there give up a lot of big ones. So does Holland, and I've caught some dandies up in Ludington as well. Number 3 on our list is the king of the salmon, the king salmon, the Chinook salmon, with 2,798 entries. The very first entry into the Master Angler program came on July 5th, 1994 at 39 inches, and that fish weighed 28.31 pounds. The number 3 fish to be entered into the Master Angler program by length came in August 18th, 2013 out of Lake Michigan and was a whopping 49 inches. Number 2 was caught October 14th, 1999 in the Manistee River, and that fish was caught by a fly fisherman, and that fish was 50.5 inches. 50.5 inches. The number 1 fish caught September 28th, 2001, also coming out of the Manistee River, was 53.5 inches and weighed 27.35 pounds. So, none of those were the state record. In 2021, in the middle of COVID, we got a brand new king salmon state record. Now that fish came into port on Lake Michigan in Ludington. It went 47.5 inches and weighed a whopping 47.86 pounds. It was on a certified scale at Captain Chuck's, caught on a moonshine raspberry carbon spoon, if memory serves me right. Let me know in the comments if I am right about that. Number 2 on our top 10 list is the mighty and one of my favorite fish to chase, rock bass, with 2,975 entries. First one was turned in February 9th, 1994 from Lake St. Clair at 10.2 inches. Number 3 on the all-time length leading list was caught May 3rd, 2016 out of the Detroit River at 16.5 inches. Number 2 was caught September 3rd, 2002 out of the Cass River at 17.1 inches and 2.29 pounds. What a big old grouper that is. Number 1 and current state record, caught 1965 from Holloway Reservoir, a 20-inch, 3.62 pound rock bass. Ooh, I love rock bass. I love them. The number 1 spot, an undisputed king of the Master Angler program, and by a lot, folks, with 4,427 entries into the Master Angler program. The very first one was turned in on February 19th, 1994 out of Houghton Lake and went a very nice 11 inches. Number 3 in the overall length leaders into the Master Angler program came on June 23rd, 2002 out of Union Lake and was 14.3 inches. Number 2 came August 20th, 2006 out of Chippewa River, 14.8 inches. Woohoo, that's a big gill. And number 1, absolutely mammoth, came out of Chandelier Lake, August 3rd, 1995, 15.5 inches. Now, with all that said, none of them are the state record. Now, I would argue all 3 of these were potentially there. All of these were obviously catch and release fish. When you look at who caught them, they're pretty laid back guys. Fly fishermen mainly. That's why I'm getting at. The state record was caught in 1983 out of Vaughn Lake, went 13.75 inches, weighed 2.75 pounds, so 2.75 pounds. I have a feeling all 3 of those fish during the spawn were definitely over the state record. 100%. But being they were caught in that latter half of the year, they were not full of eggs, so therefore they probably fell a little bit short. But I do not have any weights for those 3 fish, so this is totally speculation. So that is our top 10. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of this and what other videos do you want me to do breaking down this master angler database for you so you know where to go catch your next big fish. And as always, guys, tight lines, happy casting. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.